Let's talk about how to perform a project communication management in this lecture. A communication management consists of two important steps. First, we need to develop a communication plan. Second, we need to manage and control the information communication with the stakeholders. Let's talk about these two steps one by one. How to develop a communication plan? In order to answer this question, we need to look at this question from two perspectives. First, what kind of information we should deliver to the stakeholders? In order to answer this question, we need to identify who the stakeholders are. We also need to look at what are the stakeholders' expectations toward the information updates. What information they want to get from our project management, when they want to get the information update, our project progress, and so on. How they want to get the information update. Also, we need to look at where we should save the data and the information update. These are the factors we should look at when we answer the question of what information we should give to the stakeholders. The second important question you want to answer is what types of communication technologies you plan to adopt in the project management process. When you answer this question, you need to consider several important factors. For instance, the urgency of information updates, the technology availability, if a communication technology is easy to use. Also, you have to consider the project environmental factor. Let's say you are managing a project. Your team members are around the world. At this moment, the synchronized communication technologies, such as online chat, video conferencing system, shouldn't be the primary communication technologies you use. Why? Because your team members are staying in different time zones. It would be difficult to organize a communication or meeting activity at the same time. The asynchronous system, like emails, SharePoint, cloud computing system, should be the primary communication systems you want to use. The other factor you want to consider is the sensitivity and the confidentiality of the information being shared between you and the stakeholders. You want to look at if you need to encrypt some important information or business secrets when you deliver those information. These are the factors you want to consider when you develop a communication plan. After we create the communication plan, the next step is to deliver the information updates to the stakeholders according to the plan. The information updates could include project reports and records you email to the stakeholders, or could be the face-to-face presentations in front of the stakeholder groups. When we give the stakeholders information updates, we need to pay attention to two important activities. First, we need to collect feedback from the stakeholder groups. Many managers believe that information communication means I need to give a presentation to my stakeholders. Once the presentation is done, my job is done. This is a misunderstanding about project communication. A communication should be a two-way process. While you are giving the information update to the stakeholders, you also want to collect feedback from the stakeholders. Listen to the stakeholders effectively so that you can keep improving your next step. Once you collect the information feedback from the stakeholders, you also want to document them so that your team members or your next project can learn from these lessons. The information updates may not always be good news. Sometimes you have to share bad news with the stakeholders. In addition to sending out the bad news, you want to establish something called issue logs. In these documents, you want to record the information such as what the bad news is, what is your proposed solution. Also, you want to record the stakeholders' reaction to your proposed solution. Several techniques are available for you to measure your communication management performance. For instance, you can organize meetings with the stakeholders and listen to their feedback on the information update quality. You can also distribute surveys among stakeholders, ask them their comments and concerns in the communication process. These are the techniques for you to choose to measure your communication management performance.